Next thing, Hellboy 2.
Yeah, I mean, from that trailer, because obviously, like,
I mean, let's talk about. I mean,
you
like,
know,
the first
good
Hellboy,
footage, yeah.
the first Hellboy first. I mean, at least give us some intro as far as what you thought of the first Hellboy, and then we'll just.
I mean, yeah, you did it because I haven't seen that for ages.
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
the Hellboy was a character that I knew about. I thought was interesting, but
Good designs of the character, man. I mean,
I think no, I'm talking about even the comic. The reason why I never really got into the comic was because I was basically reading too many other comics. That's actually the only reason. But it was one of those things that I was like, man, I can't be bothered to get into another comic. So I think at that time when I actually found out about Hellboy, that was the heat of my Batman days. You know, those are the days when all I was reading was really Batman comics and Superman. So I didn't.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was later. That was like 90s.
Oh no, saying I
didn't do
Batman and Spider-Man mainly.
So I mean, it was Batman, Superman comics, and then some outliers, like 2000 AD and all that. So I didn't have time for Hellboy, but I knew about the story idea, and I thought it was interesting. So when the first Hellboy movie came out, and I knew Del Toro, Guillermo del Toro was directing it, I was like, hey, it's going to be interesting because I'd seen obviously Blade 2, heard about a couple of other things he'd done like Kronos and all that stuff.
So I mean, but like, what did you think of the casting then? Like of
No, the Perlman is great. That's perfect casting. I thought his performance was really good.
very. That's what I thought. I mean,
his performance was really good in that. I mean, he made that first movie,
and like even when he got into it, he actually really liked the character.
You know what the weird thing? I told that I was in New York for the Hellboy premiere of the first Hellboy, and he came into the cinema I was in. He actually came in, him and the woman with black hair with the fire.
Yeah.
Whatever, I can't remember what her name is, but he and her came into my screening.
Wait, so you watched it the day came out?
The midnight in New York, in Manhattan.
Okay, so it wasn't the red carpet event. It was just like the
midnight showing.
Why would they go to the mid? So
because it was the first screening.
Oh, okay.
So and it's New York, so they came in. Like, we didn't know they were going to come in.
Oh, okay.
So we just went into it because we're like fans. I mean, I it's Hellboy and I'm a comic guy, so I just went to the premiere. So we were just sitting there like, let us watch this thing. And then the next thing you know, the guy came in. So it was on the mic talking about how Guillermo del Toro, like, basically killed himself for the movie to get it made. And, like, they were just basically talking. And it was interesting. He's really into it. And the thing is, when you heard him talk about it live, then you watch the movie and you see his performance in the movie, then you realize that, you see, that's the thing about casting the right people for these things. You see, they did the right thing because they could have got a young guy, big muscle young guy to play Hellboy. But they cast an actor who could perform it and cared enough.
Oh, no, I think those are two very important elements because, like, it's the same thing with, like, Bill. Like, you can see with Winnie the Batman, Bill cares.
He cares about
Batman.
This thing. That is the reason why.
So it really elevates the performance.
It takes things to another level. Like I was saying before about the Superman script that I did and everything, talking about the casting of Superman. And even though this is a Hellboy section, again, like I said, talkbackworld.net, where website is up. New scripts out there, fan written script for Superman, a Superman movie. Thing is, people have talked about who Superman should be, whether it should be Caviezel or Keep Wrath and everything. And I think Hellboy proves to me what the idea behind casting for the main lead character in comic book film should be, is that Caviezel is not too old to be Superman. He's not too old, and the key is that he actually really wants to do it, and he's a good actor. And you can always overcome that age thing or whatever thing when you have those two elements. Good actor wants to do it, okay, and really knows what he's trying to portray.
Because the Justice League thing, like, those guys, they don't like those young guys. A guy
made a perfect. There was this journalist online with the news bulletin made a perfect comment. Do you know what he said? Just online, he said, this journalist said, "Isn't it an eye opener, or doesn't it raise your eyebrow, the fact that since the Justice League movie was put on ice, not one single one of the cast has been able to get another job?" Have you thought about that?
Yeah.
If they're that promising and up and comers, how in the last 8 months have these characters not been able to get another job? I'll tell you why. Because even one of them, who's supposed to be Wonder Woman, is a professional model. She's not even an actress.
She has nude pics on Google.
Fact.
You know,
It is that ridiculous.
So I mean, so it's just like
look. I mean that just sums that one.
No, I think but with the
Hellboy too.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like with the whole even like with the whole I mean, we're looking at Hellboy 2 and everything. Yeah, like again, man. One element that that you won't be disappointed in is that the lead character is going to be strong, because that Ron Perlman guy, he cares, and the guy is extremely good.
No, he's extremely good, and he cares, and he's also very used to genre movies. Like he's used to these fantasy, action, horror, these sorts of things. You know, where other actors would be like, "Oh, I'm doing this, and I don't want to be." This is not like a serious film. You know what I mean? To him, this is what the kind of stuff he's used to. He's used to doing these sorts of.
But I think I think you made this point before, and I think that's probably the kind of director that Del Toro is. That because I think even when you look at Hellboy 2, it's very much style over substance. As in, it looks,
that's what I'll say. Yeah.
I mean, it looks amazing. Like when you look at the CGI, the textures, the colors, it looks like a comic book. Like how the things go. Like that's Ape Sapien guy. The Ape Sapien character,
Look, I said this about Del Toro in the first movie. I said it about him in Blade 2 as well. And I said it when I watched Pan's Labyrinth. I've said it about pretty much everything this guy's done that I've seen. Man. The truth of the matter is that he is so over-focused on stylization of his movies. I wouldn't say that there's no substance, because Pan's Labyrinth had substance. But the problem is that, for me personally, is that it becomes almost at a point it gets synthetic, especially when he starts doing action. When he starts doing action, like there were some things in Hellboy 1 that I just thought were pointless. Like there was a guy with knives that had to do a pose every time he did something, every time he did swipes. It was like all so stylistic. Like there was one where he cuts people in a circle, like with a knife, and he just killed everybody in a circle. And they all just fell in a circle. And it looked like a design. And I was just thinking that, okay, it's a comic book film, but does everything have to be so planned? Like Blade 2, things were just so planned, so stylized, so...
Because I think...
It's fair enough. I mean, like I said, look, this guy visually is up there with the best of them.
No, but I think a lot of times, okay, yeah. That's why you take something like Batman Begins. Even if it's a comic book, you still have to make a film. You should still respect the art form of comics, that you must still put in that extra film element along with the style as well. Because even look at Batman Begins here. Obviously, the whenever you see Batman crouching on the roof, standing on the things like that, see that he's got that comic element there. Yeah, but also there's still a real film there. Obviously, Batman Begins had its problem, but there's a real film there. So I think when you're making a comic book films, style and story. But too many comic book films just focus on.
I mean, we did get the trailer told a lot. It was a pretty long trailer actually, and a very action-packed trailer.
Like that new villain looks crazy.
Yeah, but like I said, it is all to me that trailer just showed me more of what Del Toro's good at. It didn't show me that he's doing anything different, because Del Toro is good at visuals. He's good at costumes. He's good at making things look very, very good. He's good at atmosphere. You know what I mean? He's good at fantasy when you're talking about just creating creatures that look weird but are very interesting to look at. Like, that octopus thing that came out of the ground and all this. It's all very interesting. But the thing is, at the end of the day, I pretty much forgot Hellboy within a week. In fact, within a few days of seeing it. Because it was, while you're in there in the cinema, it's interesting, good diversion and everything. You leave, it's like, because it didn't really say anything. It was very, very shallow. The whole storyline was contrived, in my opinion, anyway. And that's what this is looking like. I mean, Golden Army, that's what it's called, Golden Army. I mean, look, I'm going to watch it, obviously, because it's, he's a good director and it's a very it looks very visually interesting. But it's not going to go down as any kind of classic or any kind of big-time movie for 2000.